Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishnah Erevin, Perek Dalet, Chapter 4, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Okay. The scenario here is you've got two people who are stuck outside of the Tchum, either because they're basing this on the opinions before about a person who was sleeping and then it realized it was Shabbos while it was sleeping, and therefore wasn't kind of shvisa, doesn't acquire this place as their place of residence for Shabbos. Maybe they both walked out of the Tchum, or whatever it is. They are right now, both of these people are in a situation where they cannot go more than 4 amos from each other. I'm sorry, they cannot go more than 4 amos around themselves. Now, hayu shnayim. In this case, if you got two people like that, miktsas amaisev shal zeh b'seich amaisev shal zeh. Some of the cubits of one go into the cubits of the other. There's a certain degree, a certain area that they overlap. Now, if you look at this picture, the way that they have it is like this. We're talking about that you have, I don't know if I'm able to see it, but you have A and B. See the picture on the bottom here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A and B. A and B are two people.
Mm-hmm.
They both are outside of the Tchum. They cannot walk more than 4 amos. However, because of where they're both standing, because there is only 6 amos between them, 2 amos, each 2 amos of theirs are going to overlap.
Overlapping.
Okay, so because of that, the Mishnah says like this: they can both bring their food into the middle, meaning into the area in the middle that overlaps between their 2 dalet amos. As long as one doesn't take from his area, the Seich Shalveir until to his friend's area. That means we can both bring into the common area that we share, but you better make sure when you bring your foot into the common area that you share, you don't end up walking further out into the other person's 2 amos that you don't have, that's not part of yours. Because again, they're 6 feet from each other. They both have 2 amos that belongs to them only that are not shared. There's another 2 amos that they do share. So the 2 amos that they do share, they can bring their food into there together. Just to make sure you don't land up going further out, meaning going into the other person's 2 amos. Or forget about not only just you going out into the other 2 amos that don't belong to you, to actually move your objects into the 2 amos that don't belong to you. Because the same way that you can't go beyond your 4 cubits, your objects can't go before their more than the 4 cubits neither. Okay, so that's the case if you have 2 of them. Hayu shloisha. Last we're talking about 3 such people. Okay, now these 3 such people that you have again in this picture, right? Got A, B, and C. These are 3 different people, right? Mm-hmm. They are and they're 6 feet in between A, B, and B, C. Okay. So what it comes out is that A and B share, meaning you got the 2 outer ones and the middle one, right? So the outer ones so you'll have, let's say you have A, B, and C. So A and B are going to have a certain area that they share, and B and C are going to have a certain area that they share, right? So the Mishnah says, hayu shloisha. Let's say you have 3 people like this. The middle one is swallowed up in between them, meaning both of them share a common area with him, although they don't share any common area with each other.
A and C don't.
Right. A and C don't share anything. Hu mutar imahen ve'mutar imai. He is permissible with them, they're permissible with him. He can bring his stuff into the common area and be with them. They can bring their common area, their stuff into their common area with him. And everything's fine. That's what it means. Hu mutarima, and he's permissible with them. He can share a common area with them, with either one of them. They can come, meaning he can bring their stuff into the common area that he shares with them. They can bring their stuff into the common area they share with him. Ushnayim achitzayin, but the 2 outer ones, asurim zeh, are forbidden with each other. Because the 2 outer ones don't share any common area between themselves. So therefore, they cannot go ahead and share anything. But the middle one with each outer one has a common area that he shares with them. Now, based on this halacha, the Gemara now goes into a similar halacha where there's a machlokes. And the machlokes that we're going to be talking about is like this. We have mentioned before that when people share a common courtyard. In order for them to carry from the house to the courtyard, from the courtyard to the house, what do they have to make? Erev Chatzeres. If you were to have two courtyards that have a door in that are open to each other, meaning there's a wall, right? The two courtyards have their own walls, but in the wall, there's a doorway that actually connects the two. They have the ability to act as two separate courtyards and to make two separate Erev Chatzeres, which if they do make two separate Erev Chatzeres, one cannot go into the other, carry into the other, another carry into the other one. Were they to decide to make one Erev Chatzeres between them, they would be able to do that. Now, there's a machlokes, Reb Shimon and the Chachamim. What happens in a case where there are three courtyards? Okay, three courtyards, and the middle one made an Erev Chatzeres, which each of the outer ones, but the outer ones didn't make an Erev Chatzeres with each other. Very similar to our case. So here's the story. Amar Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon said, "Lama davar daima." The halacha that we just spoke about, to what can it be compared to? L'shleisha chatzeres, to three courtyards, hapasuchais zoy lezay, that are all open to each other. Upasuchais l'rishus harabim, each one is open to the public domain. Now, that's the case. Here's a little picture. I don't know if you can see it too well. Okay, but here you have the three courtyards, right? There is a doorway that allows you to go through into all three. Each one of them also has its own opening to the public domain, to the Rishus Harabim. Okay? Now, the Mishnah continues. The two outer ones made an Erev Chatzeres with the middle one. But they didn't make with each other. He mutaras imohem. The middle one is permissible with them. You can carry from the middle one to the outer ones, or the outer ones into the middle one. They're permissible with it, meaning the middle one can carry into each one of the outer ones. Each one of the outer ones can carry into the middle one. The two outer ones are forbidden with each other because they never been Erev Chatzeres with each other. Now, what does the halacha help us out with? What does the previous halacha help us out with? So it helps us out with the following. It helps us out. Rabbi Shimon is saying, look, the same way you told me that when you had the three people outside of the tchum, that they can and there's a shared area between the outer ones and the middle one, but not with the outer ones, that the outer ones can go into the middle one and bring their food there if they want, and the outer ones can, and the middle one can go into the common area with the outer ones. That's where they can go. And they can, if they can share it, they can bring their food into that area. Don't forget, it's only for Amos over there. They can go ahead and bring their food there. They can share. The middle one shares a common area, which each one of the outer ones shares a common area with the one in the middle. And we're not concerned that when the outer ones share with the middle one, that maybe they'll end up going from the middle one to the other outer one. I mean, they're coming into the middle one. Right? And maybe you'd say, well, hey, let's be concerned that once they share with the middle one, they'll go further to the area that they're not allowed to go to because the outer ones don't share any common area. But we don't say that. We don't say that there. So too, in the case of the three courtyards, it should be the same thing, that we should allow the outer ones to go into the middle one, the middle to carry into the middle one. The middle one can carry into the outer ones. And we're not concerned that we allow the middle ones, the outer ones, to go into the middle courtyard, that they'll end up going into the third courtyard that they're not allowed to go to. Because don't forget, right? You got the three courtyards, you've got the outer ones and the middle one. The outer ones didn't make Erev Chatzeres with each other. They could have, but they didn't. The middle one made an Erev Chatzeres with one of the outer ones. So we allow the outer ones to carry into the middle ones. And we don't say, well, maybe we shouldn't allow that because maybe once they're in the middle one, they'll go into the outer one that they didn't make an Erev Chatzeres with. We don't say that. So, or we shouldn't say that. The same way we don't say that by the three people, we shouldn't be concerned with that by the three Chatzeres. That's Reb Shimon's point. The Chachamim disagreed with him by the three Chatzeres. But the three Chatzeres, the Chachamim said, no, they can't do that. They cannot go ahead and bring into the middle one because we're concerned that if they can carry into the middle one, they'll end up carrying to the one that's beyond that they're making a Erev Chatzeris with. You'll tell me, what about our halacha by the three people? By the three people, we're not concerned with that, right? So what's the difference? Follow the question? What's the difference between the three people and the three Chatzeris according to the Chachamim? Right. The Chachamim say the difference is like this. The difference is when you deal with three people and one of them is about to go beyond where he's supposed to go, somebody is going to tell him, stop, you can't go any further. But when you have three Chatzeris and you have a lot of people, not everybody recognizes everybody who's in their courtyard, right? Not everybody necessarily recognizes everybody in their courtyard. So they may see a person who is going to be going from the middle courtyard carrying into one of the opposite ones. They might think that that person is from the middle one who's allowed to do that without realizing that it's really one of the outer ones who's now going to be going to the other outer one he's not allowed to go to. So there, the Chachamim were concerned more. There's a greater concern that this can happen. That somebody from the outer one, once we allow him to carry into the middle one, will go into the other outer one that he's not allowed to go to. That's because somebody who sees him doing that won't necessarily realize where he lives. They'll think he lives in the middle one, and he's allowed to go from the middle to the outer one, and no one's going to say anything because no one necessarily recognizes exactly who lives where. Therefore, the Chachamim said, even though in the case of three people outside of the Tchum, we allow them to share the common area, when it comes to the three Chatzeris next to each other, we're not going to allow them to share the common Chatzer, that meaning the middle Chatzer that made an Erev Chatzeris with the other ones, because of the concern that one of the outer ones, if we allow them to go into the middle one, will then go from the middle one to the other outer one that is not allowed to carry into. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.